country blues is not, it's totally different feel, it's a different sound. The Piedmont stuff is very complicated with your chords and with your rhythmically, with your right hand doing all these syncopated rhythms. Hill country blues is just driving rhythm, not a lot of lead stuff. They use one chord throughout the whole song. A lot of times, it's it's not a strict art, but a lot of times you use one chord. We'll give you an example here. It's an old Arnold Burnside song. He's like the king of hill country blues. And the whole groove of the song, the drummer is just doing that simple beat, and then you obviously do little fills and stuff in there. But the basis of the whole song is this. And all I'm doing with my right hand is just going. You put a little pop on the 2 and the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Black Mary, changing clothes. Girl got drunk, clothes out door. Said cold, Black Mary ain't got a change in clothes. Girl got drunk, had to throw her clothes out door. No heat on by my bed, girl. I got cherry red. I don't need no heat or fireplace by my bed. Girl, I got, she keeps me cherry, keeps me cherry, keeps me cherry red. When you play lead stuff, your right hand just does this the whole time. You gotta think about it like one part of your brain does that the whole time, then you can put some lead stuff on top. See that moonlight through the trees. Look at that moon. Bolognese said, see that moonlight shining through the tree. Look at that woman with the dress pulled way on board. Way on board her knee. Keep doing that. Like if you're in a juke joint in Mississippi, you can play that for half hour and everybody gets up and dance. It's all rhythmic stuff. It's a lot of drum accents and stuff like that, and a very simple guitar part. But as far as just goes on and 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 on the whole time, on and on. That's what gets people dancing and keeps them dancing, and they just keep dancing and keep dancing if you're in the juke joints. It's not a lot of lead stuff, and it's not a lot of it's not based on chord changes, and it's not like sit down and listening music. It's get up and dance music, and you really feel it. And yeah, that's that hill country stuff. It's just a whole different style of blues, but it's all based on the same scales. Same scales, the same notes, just how you play it. What I like about this tuning too is if you ever want to learn to play guitar and you want to learn to play blues, open G, that's what I'm in now, is a good tuning to be in. It's D, G, D, G, B, D. And all you do is tune your 6th and your 5th string down one whole tone, and your 1st string down one whole tone. And if you think of it this way, this is the way I tell people when they're first starting to play. You skip your 2nd string, just don't even play it for now when you first start. Then all your notes are on your 5th fret and your 3rd fret. It makes it simpler. I won't say it's like totally easy, but it's definitely simpler to do. And the hill country blues is very simple when it comes down to just technique. It's more about feeling. It's mostly about groove and the rhythm of the music. And that's one of the fast dancing songs. We'll go to another tune in here. It's an open D tuning. It's the same as the open G, but instead of tuning to a G, tune to a D. By the way, tomorrow night there won't be so much talking, there'll be a whole lot more music. Tomorrow's going to be the big show. It's going to be the end of my tour. 23 shows in 23 days. Tomorrow's going to be number 23. And I'm going to give it all I got. I got this tuning. I learned this tuning in North Mississippi. And for you guitar players, I'll tell you, you eliminate the 3rd, like how we did in the open G. We have that 3rd, the B note in there to make a major, but this is just D, A, D, and then the same D for your G string. Those are the same notes, so you get that drone sound. And then you got sorry. D, A, D, D, A, D. So just all D's and A's. It's a big power chord. And it gives you a really, really drone sound, like a really eerie sound. And the last one we were doing this. I'll show you with, you can play like some of the same grooves, but if you cut the drum beat in half, you get a totally different sound. Just for example, if we were doing that. The guitar part never changed in that part of the song. The guitar part never changed. You play the same thing, but if you change the drums up, it gives a totally different feel to the song. So we're gonna do a really similar thing to what we did in the last song, but we're gonna slow it down just a little bit, and we're gonna totally cut the drums in half, and we get Going Down South. It's the same thing by the same artist, R.O. Burnside, and his grooves, I guess. If you can see my fingers, man, it's a really simple song to play, but man, he's a genius, I tell you what. How you can get so much cool sound out of just a couple notes. I'm going down south, I'm going down south. Going down south, I'm going down south. Chilly wind don't blow. I'd rather be dead, I'd rather be dead. Rather be dead, I'd rather be dead. 6 feet in the ground. It's so simple, you can play it with your left hand, you use one finger. dead. I'd rather be dead. Rather be dead. I'd rather be dead. 6 feet in the ground. And everything I played so far on that thing is just one finger on the left hand. It's all about your feeling with your right hand and the percussion that goes along with it. And a lot of this old blues stuff that I'm playing in is a lot of right hand technique. And people don't realize that you don't just hit the string with your pick. You know, it's just a totally different technique, and that's what gives it such a full sound as just a solo artist. And if you're playing with a drummer, it's even a fuller sound because he's got like a real kit that he plays with and everything. That's some of the hill country blues stuff. Let's oh damn, I got a lot to talk about, but let's do we got to talk about slide guitar. And I wish I had a resonator. I don't have one with me tonight, or a electric guitar or something that's made for slide guitar. Because what you want to do with slide guitar, if you're not familiar with slide, mine's just a piece of brass pipe cut about this length. And some people use a bottleneck from a wine bottle. That's what I used to make when I was a kid. Just get a wine bottle and I'd score it. Cheers, everybody. I used to just take one of my parents' old wine bottles, and they used to make homemade wine, and they wanted me to keep the bottles, but someone every once in a while sneak one out. And you score the bottle, so you take something and you can scrape around. You don't want to cut through the whole thing. You just score it around a little bit, and there's different ways of doing it. I used to just hold it and turn the bottle and tap on it until it broke off, but sometimes it'll splinter. So some people take a technique and they get like a really hot piece of wax and string and put it on there and get it really hot, and that helps break off clean. But I usually just take 2 or 3 tries, score it, and tap the bottle so the bottle's out here, and tap it until it falls off, and then I just go out to the sidewalk or the street or concrete, just scrape it and stand it down a little bit so it don't catch your finger. And then you got a bottleneck, and this one's a piece of brass pipe. It's pretty much the same thing. You can use anything they get. I got one that's also made out of a piece of bone, an old ham bone. But when you're playing slide, the advantage of playing slide is, with the guitar you have frets. So if I slide my finger up, you hear each individual note. But if you got a slide, it's more of a vocal sound. So you can hear the individual notes when I slide with my finger. When you slide with a slide, you hear every little microtone in between. And a lot of people, when they first start playing slide guitar, they have the problem of mashing the slide all the way down to the fretboard. If you do that, it's the same thing as using your finger. You're going to hear all the notes. So you want to just barely touch the strings, just enough. If you don't touch them hard enough, then you don't get much sound. If you touch them too hard, then you can't slide the note. So you gotta just be really gentle with the slide. But it really gives it a cool sound. And one of the songs I know, one of your favorite songs, is Old Jitterbug Swing is done by a fellow by the name of Booker White. He was born Booker T. Washington White in Houston, Mississippi. Booker was his name, B-O-O-K-E-R. But he was an old black dude. But the white guy that recorded him, asked him what his name was, and he said, Booker. So the guy wrote it down, B-U-K-K-A, spelled it wrong. And then so from then on, he just said, okay, that's my name. If that's how I'm known, and that's how you know me, that's what I'll call myself. He played this good song here on the slide. It's called Jitterbug Swing. And a jitterbug is actually, it's a type of dance, but they used to also call a diddly-bow jitterbug at one time. And if you hear it, you can hear some. We're going to talk about the diddly-bow next, but it's pretty cool. He would just slide his mouth. You just slide that melody. melody, and then he does that rhythm stuff that I was talking about with my thumb. Where you keep your thumb thumping and keeping that. That's your rhythm guitar player on there. So when you add it all together, it's like this. He does a jitterbug swing. If I did it without the slide, you get. With the slide. It's definitely more. It's a whole different sound, a whole different feel. It's more like a voice. Because when you sing, you don't go. You slide into the notes when you sing. That's what they're trying to get with that technique there with the slide. We'll just play the song here. Let's bring that rhythm guitar player in here. Hey, people, do that jitterbug swing. Hey, people, do that jitterbug swing. Don't know how to dance like that, babe. Just shake that thing. That jitterbug sound. You can hear me. It's funny too. You can hear me when I'm playing. I'm hitting those frets a little bit. And you hear that clank, 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 clank. And what's really good if you want to play slide guitar is get a really cheap guitar with the necks bent a little bit. And if you play the chords, they sound like this. They're out of tune because the neck's so bent. It's good for slide because when the neck's bent, the strings actually raise up a little bit, and then you won't hit the frets. So usually when I play slide guitar, I have some more cheap guitars where the neck's bent a little bit longer and the strings are up really high, and you don't have to worry about hitting your frets and getting that sound when you play slide. The airplane only the airlines won't let you bring so many guitars before they kill you. We're gonna get that diddly bow out now since we're talking about that jitterbug and diddly bow. This is something you might not ever seen. I don't know. Have you ever seen one of these? Oh, yeah. You've never seen a diddly bow, but you probably have heard of a fellow by the name of Bo Diddley? Okay. I want to let you know right now, he was not a member of the Diddley family. His last name was not Diddley. That was just a stage name, was Bo Diddley. And he got a stage name from the instrument diddly bow. Just turned it around. Okay, this one here, I got a buddy in Memphis that makes these. But I want to tell you first about the history of the diddly bow. It's an old instrument that came over from Africa with the slave trade in America, and kind of evolved over time. There's been so many different kinds of diddly bows. Originally, it was like a one-string instrument, and you could. Some of the first diddly bows on the old porches in America, all the old wooden houses, they have wooden poles to hold up the front porch. And you got a 4-inch by 4-inch pole, usually, or something around that size. And what they would take was baling wire, hay wire, from baling hay or baling cotton because it didn't stretch. And they would take that wire and stretch it as far as they could, depending on the length, and they would just tighten it as tight as they could, put a nail, whatever they could get, a nail, a screw, and put it in one here, and then wrap it around, wrap this one around, and make it as tight as they possibly could. And then you could get an old, they used to take the old small whiskey bottles and put under the string. Or you could take, I see people use a piece of stone or a piece of bone, and you slide it under the string and you pull it all the way down until it creates tension. If you get enough tension, you have a note. And the first diddly bows are just one string. I'll put this in here to mute these other strings so you can only hear one string. But hopefully this works. One string diddly bow, there's different ways to play it, but a lot of times you just get a rhythmic thing. You gotta picture this on the front porch. A lot of times you're just playing. But you do your muting up here with this finger, instead of actually fretting it, you mute it. You get a one-string diddly bow, you get a lot of rhythmic stuff like that. You can dance to it and have a good time. There's another way of playing it too, you can just get melody notes. So you can do that, you can sing along. So you can do melody stuff and sing along with it too, or you get the rhythmic thing going. That's just one string. And yeah, and they used to, when you put them on the front pole of a porch, I've seen people that made them in their house from the wall. They just put nails in the wall. And some people have them sideways, some people have them up and down, like I showed you on the front porch. I've seen them on a wall sideways, and you can play, and if you got it sideways, the advantage of that. Something like, I just got like a screwdriver here, but you can just take whatever, you get a stick, anything that's pencil, pen, and you get. So you can get a more rhythmic thing going if you got it on your wall of your house. So when you get home tonight, you got something to do. Now I got a buddy in Memphis, Tennessee that makes this particular diddly bow. So now the diddly bow is such an old instrument, and it comes from Africa, and nobody knows the real origins of it. But what we know as a diddly bow comes from the American slaves around the South, and particularly Mississippi. But I got a buddy in Memphis, Tennessee that makes these, and people wanted to make their diddly bows portable, so they started putting them on things like a cigar box. You know, the old African instruments, they used to have a gourd or make a hoop out of something and put a head from an animal skin on there to make it resonant. But you know, in America it was cheap to find cigar boxes, so the American slaves would find old wooden cigar boxes or any kind of wooden box and mount any kind of wood. You know, it could be just a piece of wood from your house, or this here's broom handle, and just take whatever they could make, you know, whatever they had, they'd make a diddly bow out of it, one string. And then sometimes you see one or two strings, but my buddy John Lowe came up with this idea, so it's such an old idea, and he just tweaked it just a little bit and came up with this instrument. This one has one bass guitar string and 3 guitar strings. diddly bow, so a little static. Just pretend it's a record scratching, that old record sound. Yeah, so my buddy, he makes this with one bass string and 3 guitar strings, and there's actually 2 outputs. So one output is going into the that sound, and the other output's going into this guitar amp over here. And I'll tune this thing out a little bit with my screwdriver. You can change the key of it. Yeah, so he makes this thing it's just a cigar box for the body, 2 broom handles with the neck. It's got a radiator hose clamp from a car that you hold your hoses together with. And he makes his own pickups from a sewing bobbin from a sewing machine. It's just like a little spool, metal spool. And he wraps it with copper wire and puts a magnet down in the middle of it. And that's basically all the guitar pickup is anyway. Some more bass and less treble. I'll turn it up and we'll go. Play you one song on this thing and we're going to take you on home with this. I lost everything I had in the 29 foot. The bone was buried beneath the mile of mud. Now I'm down to nothing but the whistle and the stain. My baby's leaving town on the 219. What to do, hey, hey, I will remember you, I don't know what to do, my baby's leaving town on the 219. Get the bass layers on the bass layers. What do you think of that bass player? Get the drummers on now. Now that one string did it, Bo. That one string low diddly bow on the one string. Give it all now. On the train you get smaller, getting further away, and the road covers everything you wanted to say. Was that a raindrop or a tear in your eye? Were you drying your nails or waving goodbye? I will remember you, hey, hey. I don't know what to do, my baby's leaving, my sugar's leaving, my honey, my baby, my donny, my rider, my lover, my life, my woman's leaving town on the 296. all right. Well, thank y'all so much. I hope y'all learned something. And I think it's time for me to head on down the road. And we're going to have a good show tomorrow night, I tell you what. Yes, and is there any questions on anything we went over tonight? Any questions in general? It won't hurt my feelings to ask. You know? What's that? You can ask anything. Anything at all. Okay. Yeah. Tomorrow night, I'll play a bunch of songs on that guitar. I'll tell you what it is, though. It's basically it's a concept of so John Lowe made this guitar with the two outputs where you got the bass and the guitar. So this is it's like a half that and half guitar. There's 3 low strings and 3 high strings, and 3 low strings come out of this and 3 high strings out of here. So you can play bass lines like this, and you can play guitar lines with your fingers. Kind of like what I was doing with some of the other, the older style, the Piedmont stuff, where you have your bass line moving and your guitar going. But they're totally separate, so the bass line's totally coming out of one speaker, and the guitar is coming out of another speaker on the other side. It's in stereo when you play it, totally in stereo. And it mostly kind of rocks out when you play it. So tomorrow night we'll be doing that. I believe it's at the Barbie. Yeah. And any other questions? I tell you, you can ask me when I get off stage too if you're shy. I ain't shy to ask me anything, but so I'll tell you what, yeah. And we do have some CDs for sale if y'all are interested. I'm probably gonna go smoke a cigarette, but you can talk to the drummer or the bass player, or the guitar player. They'd be glad to get you take home with you this evening. And we'll see y'all tomorrow, right, at the Barbie? Because I'm not gonna be talking. I'm gonna be playing and rocking out. It's gonna be good tomorrow. Good time. And thank y'all so much for coming. I appreciate it.